Hello everyone, this is Judith with another video about twin flames. Yeah, we're talking about the 5 things that are critical, crucial, very important to master for you along the twin flame journey, and that are really required for you to be in union with your twin flame. And today it's about the fourth the fourth thing that is so crucial to master for you, and this is boundaries. Boundaries, right? So this is complex, and it's sometimes not easy to discern exactly what boundaries to set in place. Yeah, and there are different things to say about this. Why is it so important? Well, we have already talked in other videos about the fact that you're probably oriented very much toward the outside, right? You're maybe kind of a people pleaser. You're not happy if other people are not happy. You're dependent on other people to appreciate you or to be well, and first you would fulfill their needs, and then you would always place yourself in the last place, right? So I'm a mother, and that's maybe something that you can do with your children, right? Because it's natural to put them first, but there are also boundaries when it comes to this, right? And it's in a way it's just our perception how the world is working. It's just our way of going about our lives. It's so deeply ingrained in our everything, in our cells, in our emotions. And when we meet our twin flame, we start to question all of that. Maybe we've already questioned this before, but then as there are always steps and real work required, we probably could not resolve this, even if we maybe saw the problem already. So now is the time, right? Now is the time to get a little bit more information, but a little bit more clarity around it. So first of all, on the twin flame journey, we often say that we have to set boundaries with a twin, and that's true. But it's not really. It's when we're, for example, talking about setting boundaries and not seeing your twin flame anymore, not meeting your twin flame anymore, or something like that, then that's very difficult, right? Because those encounters are also part of the process, right? It goes in baby steps, and we, from time to time, we need to see each other again. And there is a natural development, a natural unfolding of the path. And sometimes it is also required that we meet. It is required that we interact in some way, communicate, right? But it's, of course, not required for you to chase him, as many teachers say, right? To want to get something from him, to want to make him stay because it feels so good to have him around. And in truth, you have to understand that this good feeling, that is you, that is your love. It's not, this good feeling is something that you have to learn to evoke within yourself, to be this and to embody this fully. It's not in your life necessarily only when your twin flame is around. When your twin flame is around, it's always there. That's true. But it's absolutely what you perceive in the moment when you meet your twin flame is your light, your soul's light, right? It's all happening on a soul level. We see our worth, we see our light and everything. Yeah, and so it's difficult when it comes to the twin. So I want to leave this for now. I'm going to talk about this later. But something that you can work on really right away is setting boundaries with other people. And so, for example, finding out about, just asking yourself, what is the benefit, for example, of spending a day with this person? And then sometimes maybe you would feel that there's no benefit for me to spend time with that person. I would only do this maybe because I want to do it for this other person, because they've asked me to come with them on a journey or whatever. But then really, for example, if on the other hand, that you feel that this is giving you a lot of joy, that the company of this other person is so uplifting, that it's so nice to spend time together, that whatever you plan to do together is just fulfilling, then go for it, right? But many, many times we tend to make choices that are not in our highest good. And that's where we need to set boundaries. And there's also something that is important to talk about, and this is like karmic players. It's not only karmic partners, but karmic players. And you have to learn to set boundaries with karmic players. When it comes to those kind of boundaries, then very often there is a lot of fear involved. And this fear is something that you're called to overcome. And of course, it's not about, okay, then I set a boundary, because this might really go take you downhill somewhere. It might not work out so well. But it's more about getting clarity on what is the next step. What is the next step? What's good? Where I always ask myself, how can I show myself love and respect in this place? And it might be different, right? It might not always be something what other people might maybe think is the right thing to do. It might also be okay for you to step back and not set a clear boundary, because it just doesn't feel good and you have not already built the strength to do that. You see, when it comes to those karmic partners, then that's or karmic players, then this can be very scary. There might be things at risk, and it's not always so clear what to do next. It feels a little bit like a jungle to move through that. And that's where your relationship with the divine comes into play, right? Because you can always check in with the divine when you have this relationship. You don't need to go through this on your own. It's a little bit as if you have a blindfold and you're just feeling your way through that. And with going forward, moving forward, and like experiencing that you're held by the divine, and that you get that the divine is always with you and is guiding you, giving you guidance, and things are starting to work out more and more, then this gives you the trust that you need, right? This gives you the trust, the strength, and the power to maybe eventually then set a big boundary with some people and with karmic players, right? This is not easy. This is really, this is sometimes happening before you reunite with your twin and move to clear the last things that you have to clear with your twin flame. It's like maybe you could call it a test or something, but there are certain things, certain issues, certain belief systems, maybe karmic issues that need to be resolved first. And there are certain lessons that need to be learned. And by this I mean that there are certain skills that need to be unlocked as well, right? So along your path with the specific things that show up, and in this case the specific karmic players that show up, they are teaching you specific lessons. They're teaching you many things, but they are also like showing you the way to your skills, right? Yeah, and that's a big lesson in boundaries, and that's absolutely necessary. You cannot cannot let yourself be walked over like a doormat, right? You have to learn to stand in your power and to set boundaries with people around you. It could also be family members, of course, right? So they could be karmic players in your life. And basically, when you move through this through those lessons, then you get better and better at setting smaller boundaries with people, and you do this in a loving way, and people then respect your boundaries and they would not be offended by this. It becomes easier and easier and feels natural, right? And of course, it's also that it's setting boundaries. It's also communicating to the universe what you want. So, for example, I want to experience loving and healthy relationships in my life. I want to meet up with high-flying, high-vibrational people that are uplifting and inspiring, right? That's of course also something that you could state on the other side. Yeah, and there is also, when it comes to our twin flames, let's switch now to twin flames. I made a video, I think it's called, Is Your Twin Flame Zapping Your Energy? So I will link it somewhere here. You can watch it. It's pretty much about setting boundaries with your twin flame energetically. Right? Because the boundaries that we have to set with our twin flame, it's two things. One thing that I'm talking about in the video, which is that unconsciously the twin is trying to get your energy. So this is, for example, every time you're like yearning for your twin flame, every time you're thinking about your twin flame, you're like putting your twin flame first, basically. That's what it is. Putting your twin flame first and not disrespecting your own needs, disrespecting the things that you need to do for yourself, provide for yourself, the time you need to give to yourself, the attention, and so on. So you put your twin flame first. That's energetically handing over your power, handing over your energy to your twin flame. That's very unhealthy. And this is something, it can never work, because you are giving your energy away to your twin flame. Guess what your twin flame is doing? He is giving his energy away to someone else. So basically you have to turn this around. So you have to learn to set boundaries here, to say, okay, I have this beautiful energy and I'm using this energy now for me. I'm pouring into self, right? Because this is like fueling my union. It's not that I'm like disregarding or disrespecting my twin flame. I am my twin flame, right? We are one. So the moment, and you can try that. That's basically how you learn along the journey. Try to give to yourself. Try to pour into self. And this is also in steps, right? As I explained in another video, first you build the relationship with the divine, then you build the relationship with self. Because when you try that before you have a relationship with the divine, it might not really work. You might not really find out about it in depth. So yeah, you give to yourself, right? And whenever you feel that, then you feel the emotions of your twin flame, something, because it's not only that your twin flame is feeding off your energy, it's also that he's pushing things that he does not want to feel. He's giving them to you, right? So that he does not need to feel them. And when he is not feeling those emotions, then he is not dealing with those emotions. It's very simple. So you have to set boundaries, energetic boundaries, right? And say, you deal with your stuff, I deal with my issues. That's totally fine. Every once in a while there is an issue where we need to help our twin flame, but basically that's rare. Basically, our twin flame can deal with their stuff. They are spiritual. They know one way or another. We don't have to worry about that, right? They are our divine mirror. They are just as you are. They are as intelligent as you are, as spiritual as you are, as loving as you are, whatever, right? So don't worry. But they need to feel their issues. They need to feel their feelings in order to start to get to resolve those things, right? And that's not your job, that's their job. Okay? So yeah, and then there is another boundary that we need to put up with our twins, and that is with ourselves. Because when it comes then to the every time it comes, it's really each time, like we go in circles or spiraling. I like to see it as a spiral, because it might feel like circles stuck in circles, but really we are going in circles, but we are going up like in a spiral, right? So once in a while we are like meeting, we are like connecting to our twin flame, and that's when the ego kicks in, right? That's when all our triggers come up, and we are like going back and forth between our higher self, if you want to call it like that, and our ego. So, and our higher self is all about this love, this unconditional love that is present with the twin, that is present with you, and then the ego kicks in, and the ego is always like kind of blaming the twin flame, shaming the twin flame, and of course it's all out of fear. We are afraid that this other person is not loving us as much as we love them. We are afraid that they might be with someone else. We are afraid that they might not text us back if we text them, or whatever, right? It's all coming from a place of fear. That's what the ego is. And and we are like falling into this trap pretty often, if we are honest, right? I don't know about you, let me know in the comments, but I think that's a natural process, natural movement along the twin flame journey, and we have to learn to deal with that, right? So we have to set boundaries with our ego, and there comes this moment where we really do not allow our mind, our ego, to interfere with the love that we are. Say, okay, we choose connection in that moment, right? We choose to connect to ourselves, to our higher self, to our inner being, right? We choose this connection, and we set a boundary with the ego. I don't allow you to interfere. I'm here in unconditional love. Everything that's been shown to me is okay. I just see what the universe is presenting to me, and I deal with it, and that's all. And I don't need you to tell me that from a place of fear, that I have to be afraid of this, that, or the other, basically, right? And then act out. So yeah, it's very complex, and boundaries is really it's something that we build over time, like basically everything, because it's experience after experience after experience, and then it really doesn't matter if you get it wrong, and you say, "Oh, I messed it up. I messed it up. I got triggered again, or whatever it is, or I let my ego interfere, or I I took on all the energy from my twin flame, all of his feelings, and did not set a boundary. Well, that's how you find out, right? That's for all of us. We have to move through that and then learn that we are better off, and that our twin flame is also better off if we set those boundaries. That's basically it, right? It's fueling union. Yeah, it sounds so harsh. And this is also why I said in the beginning, it has nothing to do with like pushing your twin flame away or setting a boundary and block him on Facebook or whatever, or tell him I don't want to see you again. So that's not something that I would recommend. But I would recommend that if you feel you're like always losing yourself, and you're like always only wanting the contact and always getting disappointed and always having kind of expectations, then I would recommend like stepping back a little bit and focusing on you. That's all, right? And doing the inner work. And if you don't know that, or if you need help, if you're stuck in any way, you find my office in the description box, and you also find a link to my newsletter. I have a free event coming up on October 31st. If you sign up for my newsletter, I will send out that link via newsletter. So if you want to be part of that, it's all about clearing, let's call it dark energies that are interfering on the journey. So that's something that's overlooked by many twin flame teachers, and something that is very important in my perspective. And of course, I also want to make room then for your questions. So if you have a question already, feel free to drop that question in the comments, and I will make sure we get to this question in one way or another. All the questions will be answered, I promise, in one way or another. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I wish you a beautiful day, and I see you in the next videos. Stay tuned. Bye for now.